welcome to another Strum Trum session. Today, we're going to be learning You've Got a Friend in Me from the Disney classic Toy Story. In this lesson, I'll be teaching you how to play the band accompaniment arranged for just one guitar. So you can play this and back up another instrument playing the melody, sing over it, or just play along with the original. The song is in the key of E flat, and since that isn't the friendliest of keys on guitar, we're going to put a capo up here on the 3rd fret so that we can take advantage of more of the open strings. There are 4 basic parts to the song, arranged in this order: instrumental, verse, bridge, verse, and outro. Let's jump in at the top with the first instrumental. There are 2 spots I want to call attention to in this section. The first is the hammer-on from the 4th note to the 5th note using our pinky. A lot of people have trouble with the pinky because it tends to be our weakest finger, so I find it helpful to just run this over and over again until I make sure that that note sounds out clearly every time. The other tricky spot in this section is when we're on our C diminished chord and we have to set ourselves up for the C coming up next. In this spot, we're going to use a bar on the 3rd fret with our index finger to help set ourselves up for movement between those 2 chords. Moving on to verse 1, that sounds like this. The first part I want to talk about in this section is in bar 7. We have this movement. So we need to use our pinky to bar the 3rd fret, and while we're playing the 2 notes together on the next beat, we're going to reach up with our thumb. So it looks like this slowly. Once more. The other part I want to look at is in bar 15, where we have 3 quick chord changes followed by a pull-off. In order to set ourselves up for that, I like to use this motion. In doing that, we're able to change quickly from this F to this E, and then shift down a string to this A minor. Now we're on instrumental 2, which is essentially the same thing as instrumental 1, except for shortened a little bit. Since we basically already learned this section, the only thing I want to point out here is that we're ending slightly differently because the ending of the instrumental isn't the same as the first one. Now, in order to transition between that C diminished and the following C chord, we're going to do this motion. Once more, that's like this. Now we're on to verse 2. We've basically seen this verse already. The only thing I want to call attention to is in bar 30, there's this F to a C over an E. For that, it's a little tricky in the right hand, so what I like to do is use my index and middle twice in a row on the F chord, and then on the C over E, use my ring, middle, index, and then thumb to descend. So slowly that looks like this. let's move on to the bridge. The first difficult spot in this is moving from bar 37 to bar 38. We're in this B7 shape, and we need to move to this C13. That's actually not that difficult of a jump if you remember that you can leave your ring finger planted where it is. So incorporating the picking, that motion's like this. The other moment is in bar 39. I'm going to play through that even more slowly, just a couple more times, so you can see how to move your fingers in order to get into position. Now, we're on to the final verse and outro. We're not really learning anything new at this point, it's all just kind of a variation on previous ideas, so I'm going to play these parts together. Now that we've learned the whole thing, let's play it beginning to end up to tempo. Here we go. So that's it. That's the whole song top to bottom. I'll include some links below where you can purchase the full score and guitar tab, and I'll also link to an easier version of this song that I did. In case you want a more strummable version, this version will just use open chords, no bar chords, and it's been simplified a little bit, so the melody still works and it maintains the original character, but it's just for strumming, so there won't be any finger picking involved. I hope that was helpful to you, and leave your suggestions for more of these lessons below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.